All right, let's take a look at the behavior engineering model. It's from Thomas Gilbert in his Human Competence Engineering Worthy Performance text. And I've got a couple of different examples I want to take a look at here. That's what I like about the behavior engineering model, is that it works in several different situations with several different people, from children to adults, those with neurological disorders and those who are neurotypical. And it takes into account both the environment and the person. This first example is an example from my house. I've got 4 children, and when it's school time, they need to be in and out of that shower quickly. So the first thing I did is I just told them, okay, you need to take a shower within 5 minutes. I gave them that data. I made sure they had all the resources that they needed: hot water, soap, shampoo, conditioner. The first incentive, this wasn't the first incentive. The first incentive I provided is I just told them, you need to be out of that shower in 5 minutes. Mom told them. I made sure they knew how to clean themselves effectively and that they were physically able to do that. But they needed to be motivated simply by me saying it. They needed to want to obey me. They do want to obey me, but not so much that they got out of the shower independently. I had to make sure that I had a timer going, and then I went and knocked on the door and said, hey, time's up. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I didn't want to do that anymore. I decided I needed to bump up the incentive. I added breakfast meat. They all wanted bacon. I no longer had to tell them. I just let them know, you got to be out in 5 minutes if you want bacon. Kids were out in 5 minutes. Happy mom, happy kids. It worked. Okay, let's look at another example here. For a child to be safe on the playground. If you're going to develop an intervention for a child who has social skills needs, you need to take a look at the behavior engineering model. Have they been provided with all the data that they need? Have all the resources that they need been provided? Are their playground attendants there? Do they have the equipment that they want out there? And what kind of incentives are in place? And are those incentives strong enough? At my school, there's Fantastic Four awards. That works for the majority of students. But for a child who this is more difficult for them, you may need to have a more immediate, stronger incentive in place. You need to make sure that that child has all the knowledge and understanding that they need to have, as well as the abilities that they need. Do they have the ability to make a clear decision in a stressful situation? Can they read a student's nonverbal cues? And then, the motives, that is that incentive motivating for this individual? So that's how you can use the behavior engineering model in developing an intervention. Another way I use it is to discover why an adult isn't following through on an intervention, okay? In this situation, it was a picture exchange communication system at home, okay? The data I provided, I explained to them how to use the system. I made sure they had all the necessary pictures and a board was provided, and I let them know, hey, this is going to help your child communicate their wants and needs. I made sure they understood by doing role play with them, that they understood how to present the board, how to guide the choice, because at first the child was just learning this, and how to provide the desired item. I made sure they recognized what all the pictures represented, that the board was in an easy to locate position, and they were able to present that quickly, and that they could get the items that the child wanted. But to motivate, that parent must want the child to be able to communicate. So there's a parent who's a very good parent, and I'm just surprised she's not using the system. I finally asked, why aren't you using this? She said, I know what my child wants. My child can already communicate with me. I know when he points at the cabinet and he says, ba, ba, that he wants this particular cookie, and I get it for him. Why would I go through all this? He can already communicate with me. I said, I needed to add to this incentive. This isn't about your child communicating with you. This is about your child communicating with the world. This will help your child communicate with the world. A light bulb went on. She'd never thought of it that way. Of course she wanted her child to communicate with the world. That provided the motivation. She worked hard on this system. Within only a month, the child was effectively using the system. So The behavior engineering model by Thomas Gilbert can be a very powerful tool for using in multiple situations, and I'm very glad that it's presented in this class.